Shalom, 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 my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another end of the week Sabbath class. I'm your brother Ananias for A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And as always, it's an honor and privilege to come before you each and every week to give you another uplifting and edifying lesson. And this week is no different. But before we get started, we want to give all honor, glory, praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shah being his son, who the world calls Christ in the Paleo Hebrew. But through his strength, sacrifice, and example, we are all able to be here today to be uplifted and edified in the spirit. So I appreciate you, brothers and sisters, tuning in, and Lord willing, those who will tune in on down the road. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Share this content as well, because today's class is dedicated to helping to heal our brothers and sisters, which brings me to my next point that I bring out every week, that we must remember as a nation of people, as repentant Israelites, to remember to pray for our nation of people, because we constantly go through ups and downs on a day-to-day basis where we are affected mentally, spiritually, physically, and financially. So we got to pray for our brothers and sisters that we become strong again as a nation, that we turn to the Lord with a truthful heart, with all sincerity, constantly asking the Most High for his grace and mercy, and asking that our brothers and sisters be built up in the spirit day in and day out. So we appreciate you, brothers and sisters, tuning in. And remember, don't just pray for you and your family, pray for your nation of people. All right. And that's going to bring us to the next topic, which is what today's class is going to be dealing with. And today's class is called, Why Am I Still Single? This will be part 2 of a little series that we decided to do, dedicated to helping our brothers and sisters to figure out where they're going wrong at and how to fix it so that we can become strong again as a nation. Last week we did part 1, and it was dealing with the men, telling them about the shortcomings and how we fell off as a nation, and how the system that we live in today, or this world that we live in, is basically built and predicated on destroying us as a nation, starting with the men. This week, we're going to go with part 2, which is dealing with the sisters. And it's very important that our sisters understand how important they are to our nation of people, because without them, there is no us as a nation. We go hand in hand. We need each other. So being single is not helping our nation, because together we form families, we form a nation, and through strong families, we build a strong nation. So today's class is called, Why Am I Single Still? Or Why Am I Still Single? Part 2. All right. So make sure that you following along. Make sure that you take notes as well. Don't just sit there watching, eating popcorn and eating your movie snacks or whatnot. Make sure that you actually pull out your Bible, take notes to the things that we're going to be bringing out today, and pay attention so that you can be able to explain these things to your brothers and sisters, and to help teach up and raise up your families and your households to actually help them to make better choices in life, so that when they get older, they don't go out there in the world doing what we did, not knowing who we were or what we were supposed to be doing, and making bonehead decisions. They would actually go out there in the world knowing who they are, first and foremost, and knowing what the purpose and what their mission is. So each class that we do week in and week out, we need you brothers and sisters to be paying attention and take notes so that we can uplift our nation of people. But once again, I appreciate you brothers and sisters tuning in as always. We're going to dive right into it. I want to open up with a short video that a sister did, and I found the video to be very enlightening. And it was a sister who seen the decayed state of our people, and she decided to actually take a stand. I put it that way. She wanted to do something about it rather than just shaking her head and saying something has to be done. She actually took steps. Put a hand to the plow, I put it that way. So I'm gonna start off with that video, and then we'll jump into the class. All right. Bear with me right quick. Where is it? There you go. All right.
Back to my channel. Today's topic is on why Black women, or the majority of Black women, are still single.
Basically, talking about why is the Israelite woman single in these last days?
Now, I understand that there are some Black women that do not want to get married, do not want to be in a long term relationship. Well, this video is not for them. So if you know that you are watching this video right now as a Black woman and you know that you're not interested in a long-term relationship, you're not interested in marrying, now is the time to log off. Okay, so now let's get into it. We all know, or it's out there, the knowledge is out there that a lot of Black women do want to get married. They have verbalized it. They say they can't find a qualifying man that they can get with. Now let me discuss the things that three things that could be hindering Black women from getting married and why they remain single. The first thing I want to touch on is this: Black women, you think that
Before we carry on, I just want to make sure that our brothers and sisters understand that this class is put together to help uplift our brothers and sisters, to help them to find the knowledge to uh, straighten out those rough patches in the road or the journey that they're traveling on. And this sister is dedicated to doing that. That's why I chose this video. But we talking about the Israelite family or nation, not just the Black woman, but the nation of Israel, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
that men owe you something. Men don't owe you anything. Men don't owe you relationship. Men don't owe you bedroom activities, okay? Men do not owe you any sort of financial investment. No, they don't. So that's the first thing I want to discuss. What makes you believe that a man, any man, a Black man owes you anything whatsoever? A man does not. That's the reason why, women, you have to get out there and work hard, okay, to get yourself ready in order for a man to notice you, because men don't owe you anything. Just because you exist as a Black woman does not mean that, a good man, deserves you. A good man doesn't deserve you if you don't put yourself together. And that's going to lead me into the very next thing. The very next thing I want to talk about, which is the second point, is this.
Now, she made a great point right there, because this society, which teaches evil communication, will have our sisters believing in a fairy tale world, thinking that somebody owes them something. Nobody owes anything. You know. So when coming to a lot of relationships, a lot of our sisters have that mindset already that he's gonna have to do this and he's gonna have to do that and do this and do that. And the man don't owe you anything, and that's vice versa for the sister. What we have to do is prove one another worthy to even be in each other company. You know what I'm saying? Just because this person looks this way and this person looks that way, that doesn't mean that this man is obligated to pay for everything or has to lay out the red carpet for you. He doesn't owe you anything, you know. But society will have you think otherwise. Matter of fact, let me get I'll let us finish talking, then we'll dive into it some more.
Black women, you overprice yourself here in this dating scene. You're overpricing yourself. Now, what does that mean? It means that, you expect men to accept you the way you are. Well, let me ask you something. What if the way you are is not acceptable by the type of man that you want? Because honestly, I get it. I get it, Black ladies. You want a good, healthy relationship, right? You don't want to get into a relationship and it not be healthy. You know the kind of man you want. You've written it down on paper, or you have it mentally stored, the type of man that you want. But are you the type of woman that a good man, a good, sensible, financially stable man would want? Are you that type of woman? And most times I see a lot of women talking about, there are no good men out there. I'm a 10 out of 10. I'm a this, I'm a that. You list all your accolades. Well, guess what? Maybe those are not the things that the type of man you're looking for is desiring of you. Could it possibly be your attitude? Maybe your attitude stinks, okay? And you don't want to accept that reality so that you can make some changes to your attitude. Maybe the way you're presenting yourself as this highly overqualified type of woman. Well, what if you really are not? Have you asked these men what they're looking for in a woman? Have you stopped to listen to what other women are saying that men are looking for, and how a woman can repackage herself?
And this right here, that message that she just brought out is something that should be taught in the household before a woman is even to the point where she's leaving the house looking for a man, or a man is interested in her. She should be taught with the qualifications that are required as a woman so that she can develop herself constantly as she grows to adulthood to be the mate that is required for a husband. These are the things that should be promoted and talked about in the household, not when they're grown and they're thinking about trying to go out and find somebody, or they really want somebody. These things should be discussed in-house. And we talked about that last week, but these are the things that are not being taught in our household. And that goes right along with Hosea 4:6. Our people, or my people, the Lord says, are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. That knowledge is knowing your self-worth, your value, knowing what your purpose is on this earth. We miss out on these things just following status quo of what we see on TV. But all praise that this sister actually put her hand to the plow and put this video together to help uplift and edify brothers and sisters, mainly the sisters, to show them, to get them more understanding as to what they should be looking for or thinking about, rather than just following what's presented on social media or in the movies.
Or with black women, have you gotten to the point where you've passed the point of being repackaged, and you just truly believe, however I am, a man should be able to accept me? Well, newsflash, you are going to remain single, or you're going to continue to attract those type of men that you have been attracting that you don't want. It is so simple. Remember when, let's say, you're applying for a job, okay, and you read the qualifications for the job, or the requirements or for the job, or the criteria for the job. Are you going to tell the person hiring you that they should accept you the way you are? Or are you going to do the best you can to package yourself so that your resume matches what that job is requiring of
you? That is a great point that this sister bringing out right there. A lot of people just get to the point in life where they say, I am who I am, accept me how I am. No questions asked. I'm not going to change for nobody. That's a backwards mindset, because two people are coming together, supposedly, trying to build a relationship to later on build a family, which will help build our nation. So we got to be at a point in mind where we're willing to build and grow together, not take me as I am. I'm not willing to change to become better, to fit the need or the purpose, especially when dealing with you want a man to marry you. You got to look at, I explained this several times when talking to the brothers, but the man is somewhat similar to the business, like this sister is referencing to. He has to be functioning and operating with a purpose in life. And when dealing with the person that he brings on board, he has to somewhat interview her like you would an employee, put her through that probationary period to see if she is qualified to be working with your business. If she's gonna be in tune with what you got going on, the same way these jobs do. That's what this sister is breaking down right now. So in order to be hired on to that job or on that team, you got to be performing at a certain level. You're not gonna just pick anybody off the street, especially if you're trying to win championships. You know what I'm saying? Or you trying to take it to the next level. You're trying to grow your business. You're not gonna just take anybody who don't want to work, who's lazy, who's slothful, who's nasty. Hey, they're gonna end up tearing your business down or destroying your team. So as your sister is breaking it down, hey, you have to be willing to change for the betterment of yourself and for the team or for the business or for your husband.
It's the same idea when it comes to relationships. It's the same concept. No job is going to accept you the way you are. They're going to expect that you match those qualifications that they've listed that they are looking for. You have to apply the same mindset to relationships. Otherwise, guess what? You're going to remain single. And if singlehood is not what you're going for, then you're just going to forever be out there doing these type of situationships that are going nowhere for you. And you're going to remain single, you're going to be miserable, you're going to be frustrated. Then you're going to come out here in these social media platforms and make all these male bashing videos talking about how men are dusty, men are rusty, men are trash, men are this and men are that. When all along it has been you are the one that is dusty, that is trash, that is nasty. And you don't want to fix that behavior of yours because you truly believe that men owe you something. Well, we're just gonna, women like me are just gonna sit and watch you and just keep shaking our head like, that is so sad. You're presenting a sad situation out there when you know all well and good that you are supposed to be molding yourself and mending yourself in order for you to look good and be good and act right, in order for you to attract that good, sensible man that you desire for yourself. One last thing I want to talk about. You have to, ladies, you have to manage your expectations. Let me give you an example of that. When it comes to a man taking you out on a date, you're expecting him to spend all this lavish money on you, but why though? Why? Like, what is the reason? I thought that the reason for a date is actually for you to get to know him, for him to get to know you. But you are expecting this lavish date and him spending all this money on you. Then it becomes more about the ambiance of where you're going to be, the type of food you're going to eat. It becomes more about the actual date, that instead of it being the man that you're going out on a date with. So you end up not getting to know this man that you're going out on a date with. And guess what? That's how a lot of Black women bypass good men, because the man wants to take them on a simple, practical, sensible date. You got to manage your expectations. Otherwise, what you desire, the type of man you desire, is going to walk right past you and go to another woman who is willing to be practical and sensible and sit down and have real conversations. I don't think that Black women understand that, being in a relationship requires work.
It requires work. Just like when you searching for a job, it's a job to find a job. If you ever heard that phrase before, it's a job in finding a job. You know what I'm saying? You got to put in work just to get hired. So what makes you think it'll be any different when it comes down to finding a husband? You have to put in work, and that's what the scriptures actually go into, you know. But what this sister is bringing out is straight facts. You know, it's not to bash women, it's to give a wake-up call, you know,
Right.
to let you understand that what society promotes to you is the opposite of what you actually need. Society gonna promote things that are degrading to you, that will feed what you think you want to hear, but not giving you the things that you actually need. Brother, let me get First Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33.
All right.
Shalom to you as well.
Shalom. Shalom. Hey, let me say one thing too. We have to realize when we're in a relationship, uh, on both sides, we have to be willing to compromise. Uh, Nobody can't come into a relationship not willing to change for try to change for the better of the relationship. You know, and uh, a lot of time people expect for the other person to change or uh, decide to do something different than what they were doing, but they don't want to, compromise or try to change their what they were doing or to make the
Right.
relationship work. They don't want to what the word I'm looking for. They don't want to. I guess I should say they don't want to try to change their behavior for the better of the relationship and expect
Mm-hmm.
just one side to accommodate them when they're not willing to accommodate the other side.
That's right.
But what you want in First Corinthians,
Chapter 15, verse 33.
all right, book of First Corinthians, chapter 15 and verse 33, and it reads, "Be not deceived; evil communication corrupt good manners."
Evil communication. These are the things that our people have been, mainly the sisters, have been stigmatized by. You know, the love and hip hop, the basketball wives. What is it? Love and hip hop, Atlanta, New York, Chicago. All of these different things have changed the mindset of our women to thinking that this is what life is. Hey, go get a man that's balling, and I ain't got to do nothing. I ain't got to change nothing. All I got to do is look good. I be arm candy, and my life is straight. That's a fantasy world. That's not reality. That's foolishness. That's evil communication telling you, hey, you go out there and basically be a kid, trying to get a grown man, be a kid. Don't learn how to be crafty in anything. You don't know how to cook, clean. You don't want to get your hands dirty. You don't want to do nothing. But you want a man to take care of you and do everything and flip the bill, lead you, protect you, do all these different things, but you don't know how to do anything. Or he should just accept me how I am.
He ain't getting nothing in return.
Nothing in return. You know, and I know a lot of sisters don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear it. They want somebody to feed the ego and feed them with the lies that the Christian church feed them with. But the bottom line is, if you want to make change, if you want betterment in life, you're going to have to buckle down and fall in line with what the Lord has said, you know, and understand what's really going on in society. The things that they promote to you through social media, through the movies, the commercials, they're all lies to deceive you, you know, to have you thinking, hey, you can just do what the hell you want to do. And they should accept you the way you are. Should nobody want to make you change? You shouldn't want to improve. You know, hey, just do you. But that's the complete opposite as to what's written in the scriptures. You know, give me Matthew 6 and 33 right quick.
Yes, sir.
Because we seeking everything but what we supposed to be seeking. And we wonder why things don't succeed. You know, we getting bits and pieces of relationships and we trying to make them work. But just imagine if we would have been doing thus saith the Lord, you know, or been raised under that precept where it's saying we got to do thus saith the Lord in order to maintain or to build our families and our nation of people. Imagine where we would be. But we here in Babylon the Great or Yeah, I say that under the influence of Babylon the Great all around the world. And we wonder why our families are destroyed. Bring it out, King.
Book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
First thing we should be seeking, men and women, is the kingdom, rulership. No more of this heartache and pain. We should be seeking peace. Once we seek the Lord's righteousness, meaning keeping his commandments, he said, read that one more time, King.
Yes, sir. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you.
And all things shall be added unto you.
Right.
All things. You want a loving husband, that should be added unto you when you seek in the kingdom. You want a man that's gonna stand up, lead you, protect you. Hey, all those things gonna come when you seek the kingdom. When you seeking these commandments, seeking his righteousness. You want a joyful life, a peaceful life. When we do the things that's commanded of us, hey, then we will have peace, joy, understanding. Everything will be added unto us when we seek the kingdom. But here in Babylon, we ain't seeking the kingdom. We seeking our own free will. We seeking the lust of the flesh. We seeking to do what Beyonce doing, what Cardi B doing, what everybody else doing on TV. That's what we trying to do, or that's what we looking for, or that's what the sisters looking for. Hey, men too, but this class is geared toward dealing with the sisters. We living in a fantasy world, and most sisters is looking for that Cinderella, that Prince Charming uh, story to happen for them. They looking for that brother to come through and slide that slip on your foot. But what they fail to realize when you watching that cartoon or that story or reading that story, you fail to realize that Cinderella was grinding in that movie, in that story. She was on her knees grinding and scrubbing them floors, so she knew how to clean, making garments. She knew how to sew. She knew how to do all the things that majority of our sisters today don't know how to do. And by her works, by her actions, her works, Prince Charming found her. A lot of us, a lot of sisters today think that a man just supposed to come giving you everything. Like the sister saying, right? They don't owe you nothing. You
Hey,
ain't doing nothing. What make you think that somebody owe you something? You know?
hey, and a lot of times, uh, a lot of women looking for what they looking for, what a man trying to find a man that can do for them, but they're not trying to find somebody with the mentality of what we can do for each other. What can we build together? They want to
Right.
put everything on him instead of instead of being a team, like a teamwork. They wanted to be all on him, and
Exactly.
that might work with a gullible man for a little while, but only for a little while. And
Mm-hmm.
once he comes to his senses and realize, hey, this relationship seems like it's all on me, he gonna be ready to get gone.
Right. Let me play a little bit more of the video.
Okay, being in a relationship is not about the finances. There's a time and a place to discuss finances, but when you're talking about the initial stages of getting to know a man, it takes a lot of work, and that type of work means conversations. You're gonna have to sit down and have meaningful conversations with this man. It's almost like for lack of a better word, almost like a job interview. You're going to have to discuss. It's a discussion. Get
Exactly. That's what the scriptures talk about. You gotta prove a friend. That's where them conversations come in. You let me get that in Sirach chapter 6, King.
Yes, sir.
Sirach chapter 6, and we're gonna start at verse 7.
All right. So Rock chapter 6 and verse 7. If thou would have get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
If thou will get a friend, prove him first and be not hasty to credit him. You got to prove that individual. That's by having these conversations, real conversations, by the way. Not conversations on just where you going to take me to eat. You going to get
Right.
my hair and nails done. You know, what outfit you going to buy me. Where you going to take me this time. Real conversations. You know. It say prove him first and be not hasty to credit him. You got to be able to see where this person's mindset is at, male or female. That's why you sitting down having real conversation with the intent of being married, not to just get what you want out of this person. That's why a lot of people end up single, because they just trying to get what they want out of somebody. Never really trying to, and I hate to say it, but majority of us were never raised to go out and find a wife or a husband. We weren't raised with that mentality, which is sad to say. But we would just, hey, go out there, have a good time, play around, do this, do that. You know, don't bring no babies, whatever the case may be. But nobody, majority of us, we weren't raised with a righteous mentality to go out there looking for a wife or for a husband. You know.
Right. Hey,
So
and
go ahead, King.
I'm bad. No, I just been saying, just like you say, we have to prove a person. And you can't prove a person with those adolescent conversations. Like you were saying, uh, where we gonna go out tonight? Uh, just things that younger people talk about. You got to see where this person mind is 10 years down the line. Have to prove a person.
That's
And that's
right.
where we go wrong at. We so fast to looking at how attractive the woman or the man is, and a lot of times right there is enough for some of us. But we have to go beyond physical attraction. I mean, have to see what this person's mindset is, because a lot of time a lot of time us as men will have a better relationship with a not so attractive woman than we would with a beautiful woman. Because sometimes those beautiful women, they think that, they God gift to the world
Mm-hmm.
and that they wear the highway. But sometimes a not so attractive woman, what she thinking is, I got this man, I want to please this man. A lot of times that's how they think.
That's right.
What you got, man?
All right, I'm gonna play some more of this video right quick.
Get to know him, he gets to know you. So, what better scenarios of a date can you have those type of practical conversations? Simple dates that are like maybe walks in a park, simple dates like your first initial dates, simple dates like a walk in the park, a picnic, coffee dates, things like those. You can knock those type of dates all you want. You will forever be that hamster in the wheel going round and round and round, and never ever ever landing you a guy and sustaining that good guy that you want. He'll just walk right past you and go to somebody else who is willing and ready for this type of relationship.
That's right. Hey, brother, let me get Ciroc 27-7 right quick. Ciroc 27-7. Going back into what the sister was saying, go on these simple dates. You know, they don't have to be extravagant. You know, walk in the park, coffee, you know, something small, something that don't require nothing, so that you can have a meaningful conversation and get to know that person. You got that?
Yes. Sirach chapter 27, verse 7. Praise no man before thou hearest him speak. For this
Read
is
that one more time.
praise no man before thou hearest him speak. For this is the trial of men.
You see that? That's a commandment right there. Praise no man or woman before thou hearest him speak. Of course, the Bible written in a masculine form. That's why I'm speaking like that. But this is twofold. It's saying for the man and for the woman. Don't praise nobody before you hear him speak. That's a commandment right there. But this is the trial of men. This is that proven process. Don't just be gun-ho or wide open, nose wide open just because you see somebody that's attractive to you. So you ignore everything. And you don't even know how their mindset works, how they think, how they speak. You just praising this person. Oh, yeah, that's me right there. You know nothing about this person. And then you spend all this money, time, and energy and end up getting hurt in the long run because you fail to do what the commandments say. Praise no man before thou hearest him speak. And that goes for us when we even dealing with celebrities and all of that. A lot of us go give up our hard-earned money that we've been slaving for to go to concerts and games and all that to see these people perform and ain't never heard them speak. Don't even know what they about. But we like, that's my man right there. That I love the way she sounds when she sings. But they ain't about nothing. Praise no man before thou hears him speak. But I'm gonna go back to the sister.
Black ladies, it's about time. Okay, it's about time that we change our narrative. We change our status in the world. We cannot continue to be single Black women if we don't want to be single Black women. It's so simple, and it may not be necessarily easy, but the formula is simple. Manage your expectations, okay? Stop overpricing yourself in the dating scene. You are not a 10 if you are not a 10. Most women are not 10s. Most women are just average. And average is a beautiful place to be. There is nothing wrong with being average as a woman.
She might have ruffled a few feathers right there.
Mhm.
You just have to learn how to put yourself together, not just physically, but your attitude, the things that fly out of your mouth, okay? So you have to understand that managing your expectations and stop overpricing yourself. If you are a 5, you are a 5, and just keep it that way and keep it moving. Just repackage yourself, get yourself together, get your attitude together, and present your best self. And the last thing is, men do not owe you anything. They don't owe you anything. So, yes, you are in competition with other women because men don't owe you anything. You're going to have to work on yourself and be in competition with other women out there to get the type of man that you want. Because honestly, the type of man you want, majority of women want that type of man too. So you're going to have to do a couple of things now. If you can just, those 3 things, work around them and change a couple of things according to these 3 things I've just told you. Change those things around. Take it from me because I do have experience in that area. I've been married for over 10 years now. I know what I'm saying. It will help you. This channel that I'm running here is about helping women, single women, to get into long-term relationships and to get married. That's what my channel is about. Why can't us women who know what to do help those other women to get to where we are?
All praise for that sister, for actually taking the initiative to do what she's doing, And the advice she was giving is spot on. She didn't give all the things, neither are we going to hit on every little point, but we're going to bring forth information on a lot of different topics, and some that the sister spoke on. But our whole intent is the same intent that we have, is to help our brothers and sisters to grow, to build, to become strong again as a nation, and that's the mindset that this sister has. I'm going to play another quick little video. This is a short, that was about the longest one I'm going to play tonight. But Put this one on now.
Age of 54, 2 divorces later, let me give you the marriage advice I wish that I had listened to.
Play that again.
At the age of 54 and 2 divorces later, let me give you the marriage advice I wish that I had listened to. Love is not enough. Marry for character, not just chemistry. You're not just marrying them, you're marrying their habits, their debt, and their family drama. Marriage will never fix loneliness. The wrong person will make it worse. You can't marry potential. You're not a life coach. You're a spouse. Being alone is way better than wishing you were. The right person will make you feel safe. The wrong one will make you feel small. At the age of 54 and 2 divorces.
You see that? She's 54, been divorced twice. Why you think that is? Because she don't know her role. She didn't know what she was supposed to be doing, and it failed. These are the things that transpire when we don't follow thus saith the Lord. We don't even, the men don't know their roles, neither do the women know their role. We're going to go and get the role of a woman. Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 2, right quick. In order for you to be good at anything or be a part of a business, an employee, a team member on a team, you got to know your position. You can't just get out there trying to dribble the ball thinking you the point guard when you was put on the team to be the center. You know, you can't go into a company being hired as an employee trying to be the CEO. Now you got to work your way up. You got to learn your position, learn the ropes, so to speak. You should already know these things before you even come to the company or get on the team. You should know about the game, know about the sport, know about the position. You should know about that company before you try to interview and get a job there. All of these things go hand in hand. You just gotta sometime come with a carnal standpoint so that our people can understand it. Genesis chapter 2, and we're gonna start at 18.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him.
Read it one more time. Let me get there first.
All right.
All right, read it again.
Book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him.
You see that? When he made man, he said, hey, everybody else got a mate. It ain't good that he should be alone. I'm going to make him a helpmeet, somebody designed to help him. Not I'm going to make him an equal. I'm going to make somebody be over him. He said somebody to help him. That's the role of a woman, whether they want to hear it or not, whether sisters want to hear that or not. Your job, your purpose on this earth is to help the man. I know that might ruffle feathers. That ain't what I was here for. I'm here to run my own company, to be the boss. Nah, your job, your whole purpose is to be a helpmeet, to help your husband. Help, not rule over, not dictate to him, not to be rebellious, but to help him. That's the whole purpose of a woman. You know, help him. That's what the scripture's talking about. But a lot of society got us all bent out of shape where we don't know what the hell is really going on. You know, man, he trying to give the world to the woman. And she asking for it in a other word, but that's not what she really wants. She wants to be led. She wants to be given a mission so that she can help her man, help him. You know, but most men are not being taught what their role is, so they don't know. So they don't meet a woman with the intentions of knowing she's supposed to help him. He meets her based on how she looks, and he tries to give her the world, and it ends up falling flat on his face. He ends up falling flat on his face, and the relationship fails. The family fails, and the nation is being destroyed behind it. But we all have to learn and know our roles and stand up in those roles, fulfill those roles. You know, as a woman, your job is to help a man. You know,
That's right.
help him. All right.
Hey, and the like you said, a woman's job is to help a man. And when we say help a man, we're not saying that you
Hey,
have to.
talk for a minute, brother. I'll be right back.
Okay, when he said the woman's job is to help a man, uh, not saying just as a slave. We're not saying as a slave, but you would be surprised on just the little things that a woman does in the household, how much help that is. You know, we have. I remember a long time ago, uh, my wife had went on vacation. I'll take that back. She didn't go on vacation. Something had happened where I had to tend to the kids for like a week, I think. And I forgot what she had to do, but I had to tend to the kids for like 5 or 6 days or something like that. And I did it, but once I was doing it, I realized just how much work goes into what she was doing with those children as far as cooking and giving baths and stuff like that. And I made a post on Facebook once that was over that I had once told my wife she needed to find a better job or whatever, but she had a very uh hard job doing just what she did, and I didn't realize it till it was on me. So that's the definition of a help me. Uh, when you have someone like that doing all those little small things, really they're not small; they're really big. Because when I had to do it, it was rough, but that was her purpose. And men, we have to realize that if you got you somebody in your life that doing those little small things, that is your help me, and you have to give that woman her praise for doing it because that's a lot. But you got it, bro.
All praise. All right. So what I want to go into next is an article that's going to go into several different topics as to why a majority of our sisters are single. All right. So the first one would be well, it says demographic imbalances. And that was going into there are fewer black men than black women in the US, which is that's known around the world basically. It ain't just in the US, but it's on a larger scale in the world. It's more men, I mean it's more women than it is men, you know, due to a lot of different factors, especially war back in the day. A lot more men go to war than women, so a lot of men died. But just reading a little topic, it says there are fewer black men than black women in the U.S. due to systemic factors such as higher mortality rates, meaning death, and disproportionate incarceration, meaning we being locked up at a high rate, so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American men. According to the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics, black men are incarcerated at nearly 6 times the rate of white men. 6 times. You see that? Which significantly reduces the pool of eligible partners for black women. The other, number two, would be the economic and educational gaps. But let me go back to, brother, can you give me that in, I think that's Jeremiah, talking about us being locked in the prisons.
Okay.
Isaiah 42 or Jeremiah 42.
All right. They're all here in prison, huh?
Yes, sir. Isaiah 42:22.
I don't hear you to it now. Book of Isaiah, chapter 42 and verse 22.
Got it?
That's not it right there.
I,
Jeremiah.
I said Isaiah 42:22.
Okay, my bad. Isaiah 42 and 22. My bad. Book of Isaiah, chapter 42 and verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none deliver, for a spoil, and none saith restore.
You see that? This is a people robbed and spoiled. Robbed of our identity, everything that was great about us. We have been robbed and spoiled. Spoiled meaning destroyed, just like that spoiled milk in the refrigerator. You know, they are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey. Who is being locked and shut in these prisons more than us? Nobody.
Right,
And none deliver for a spoil, and none saith restore. Ain't nobody saying let them go. They constantly coming up with new ways to lock us up, to keep us destroyed as a nation,
right,
to keep us divided, to keep our women dating outside our race, to keep our men dating outside our race. That's another way of destroying us as a nation. They have several different methods, but this is one of the main ones. I mean, we've all heard it coming out or growing up. You either gonna make it out by playing sports, rapping, or you're gonna be dead or in jail.
right.
Those are the four avenues that majority of our people travel, you know, and we don't understand these things.
And
But
like you,
that's one of the imbalances that keeps our women single, because less men in the dating pool, hey, and it's going to allow a lot of women to be available or be single. But let me go back to the other option. Number 2, it says the economic and educational gaps. It says Black women are outpacing Black men in higher education attainment. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, Black women earned over 2/3 of all bachelor's degrees awarded to Black students in recent years. This can create mismatches in expectations and compatibility in relationships, especially where traditional gender roles are emphasized. So this is going into your finances, and it's talking about your educational gaps as far as how an individual will view the next one based on what they have went through to get a degree or the amount of money that they make. They would expect the man to be on the same level or on a higher level when it comes down to finances or education. So, but what we don't realize is that majority of us, especially the men, we don't tend to go to college unless it's playing for a sport. You know, we end up getting jammed up before getting to college. And even when we do make it to college, a lot of us end up getting hooked on other things that detour us from finishing. And then once graduating as a woman, you know, you get to these positions if they hire you. But once you get to these positions, you start climbing higher and higher and higher, the less of your own people you're going to start to see. And that's what a lot of us don't realize.
mm-hmm.
The more educated we think we are, and the higher we rise in these companies or these firms, the less of our own people we're going to start to see.
Mm-hmm.
So you making all of this money, and you're going to expect to see your brother making the same type of money or more, and you expect him to be on a whole nother level when it comes down to education. But the bottom line is you're not going to see that. That's a low percentage of men that's going to be up there. of our people.
And it's
You
by the,
know. Go ahead, King.
I said, and it's by design.
Mm-hmm.
By design. And one thing you also have to realize is in a lot of these companies, these corporations, they when they hire, they will it might be a black man with more education than a black woman, but they gonna hire that black woman and they gonna put her upstairs at the top of the building around a bunch of other white men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't want that black man up there with them, but they will let that black woman come up there with them. And then they will start you know, flirting with them, trying to get with them, and that's just how it is. The
Right.
plan is to elevate the black woman and keep the black man at the bottom. And a lot of time, I hate to say it, but a lot of time when that woman get to the top, she will flip flop. But you got
Yeah, and that's whether we want to know or admit it or not, it's all by design, like the brother said. But it's designed by the Lord, because of our rebellions. You know, give me Jeremiah 31:22. Show you that in the scriptures that's designed to be that way because of our rebelliousness.
the book of Isaiah, chapter 31.
Jeremiah.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man.
See that? A woman shall compass a man. The Lord created a new thing in the earth. Well, the woman gonna get ahead of the man. She gonna be surrounding the man. Compass, get ahead of him. You know that? That's something that the Lord put out there for our rebellion. That's why he said, "O thou backsliding daughter of Zion." We keep going off, keep breaking his commandments. That's why the Lord set it up how it is right now. And it ain't gonna get no better that way. We have to repent and return to the Lord.
That's right.
But give me Psalms 84 right quick.
All right.
Psalms 84, verse 11. Like I said, this class is not to downplay the sister, the Israelite woman, but it's to help shed light on a lot of situations that is out there and we have no knowledge of. And the reason why our nations and families are broken is because we don't have this knowledge. And that's what the Lord prophesied to us in Hosea 4 and 6. You got that?
Yes, sir. The book of Psalms, chapter 84, verse 11. For the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord will grace and glory. No good thing will withhold from them that walk uprightly.
That's the one thing that we gotta understand and know about the Lord. Because the reason why we're doing this class is to tell our brothers and sisters we gotta return unto the Lord to find out the good path, find out the old path, find out what we're supposed to be doing as a people, and understand that He doesn't want us to be withheld from anything that's good. No good thing will He withhold from them that walk uprightly. He's not gonna withhold that good man, that great man from you, that husband from you when you walking uprightly. But when we are being taught and raised in a manner where the Lord is not even being put in the picture, He's not gonna cause you to find that good man. Understand that, or He's not gonna give you that good sister, brother. You know what I'm saying? For the Lord is a sun and a shield, meaning your light and your protection. The Lord will give grace and glory. No good thing will He withhold from them that walk uprightly. So a lot of people have that mentality like it ain't no God. He ain't sent me the man I want. I'm still single. Nah, the reason why you're still single because you're not walking uprightly. You're not doing thus saith the Lord. All right. Give me give me Psalm 119.
All right. Hey, and
Verse 105.
also the Most High, He's not gonna send you the man or woman that you want. He's gonna send you the man or woman that you need.
That's right.
Yeah, we want the best looking. We ain't looking for the one that's gonna be able to lead you the right way, put you in the one that can put you in a righteous mindset. That one might be unattractive to us. We looking for the physical attraction.
Mm-hmm.
You said Psalm 119.
Yes, sir. Verse 105.
All right. The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 105. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path.
This is the mindset that we have to have and understand about the words of the Lord. That his word is going to be a lamp, meaning a light to our feet, telling us which way we should move, which way we should walk in. That's what David was saying. That's what we need to know and understand. But that ain't being taught to us. What we know is basketball wild, love and hip hop. What we see on social media. You know, we're not looking for the righteous deeds. We're not looking for a righteous brother or sister. We're looking for what looks good, like the brother bringing out. What sounds good. What looks good. But we're not looking for what is good. You know, give me Isaiah 42:16 right quick.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah 42:16.
Verse
But
16.
right now we destroyed as a nation of people, not knowing which way to go, so you can consider us to be blind as hell. Like the curse said, we would be groping at noonday as the blind. But go ahead, read that, King.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 16. I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and not forsake them.
These are the words of the Lord, saying, I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. We as a nation of people right now, we blind as hell. Even though we can open our eyes and see, we blind to the fact. We don't even know we Israelites. We don't know why we were brought on those slave ships. You know, we don't know why we on the bottom of society, even though we great at everything that we do. The Lord said, I'm going to bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I'm going to make you to travel those paths that you know nothing about. When you read my word, I will lead them in paths that they have not known. Why do we not know them? Because we have discontinued from our heritage. We don't seek the old paths. We don't go to the elders. We don't go to our fathers to seek greatness or what happened in times of old. We don't seek these things. He said, I will make darkness light before them. The things that we can't see, the corruptness, the chaotic state of this world, he's going to allow us to see what's really going on. And the crooked things he's going to make straight. These things will I do unto them and not forsake them. He will not forget about us. He will not turn the blind eye. He's going to lead us astray or lead us straight on a straight path to show us how we're supposed to be moving as a nation of people. Show our brothers what their role is. Show our sisters what their role is, how they're supposed to be moving, how we're supposed to treat each other, how we're supposed to love one another, how we're supposed to seek the Lord day in and day out, praising his name, magnifying his works, showing his glory every day, not just when we are going through it, when we need a job, you know, when we on the damn deathbed. Nah, we gonna be praising the Lord every day. But this is a promise that he was telling us, prophecy. When we wait on him, when we do the things that are required by us as a nation of people. All right. So I'm gonna go back to this article right quick. All right. So the first one was the demographic imbalance, meaning more women than men. It said the economic and educational gaps, dealing with finances and education or college degrees or whatnot. You got your cultural and social dynamics, historical and structural racism, dating preferences and interracial relationships. That's at an all-time high right now. Media representation and stereotypes, and personal choice and standards. All right. So you got your cultural and social dynamics. It says the cultural narrative of the strong, independent Black woman reflects resilience, but can sometimes be misinterpreted as a barrier to vulnerability or emotional connection. Social norms that discourage emotional expression among Black men also contribute to communication challenges in relationships. So it's going into how society is promoting a strong Black woman instead of strong Black families or Israelite families. They pushing the woman to be ahead of the man, as we stated earlier, how the Lord made a new thing in the earth where a woman will compass a man. You have all these feminist movements going on, promoting and building up the sister to be more manly than ever, instead of being a woman and being feminine, or being in her femininity, excuse me. She's being more manly now than ever. You know, and this is being done on purpose. But a lot of us, we don't realize these things. You know, let me see, find this video. All right, put this on the screen. This is a good example of it. Where is it? These are some of the things that sisters do.
Of being hurt. So these are the ways that I self-sabotage. I overanalyze and I second.
You said how I self-sabotage. Self-sabotage.
I'm afraid of being hurt. So these are the ways that I self-sabotage. I overanalyze and I second guess my feelings. I set up emotional walls to prevent other people from getting in. I'm hypervigilant. So
you see that this transpires because we are not being educated or edified in the household before leaving out. So you end up going out and getting into these silly relationships, end up getting hurt, where you start putting up walls and this and that because you're not being trained at the house. This is why it's so important for our parents to sit our children down while they're in the house with us and give them the good news. Tell them who they are and what they're supposed to be doing. We can't just let the schools raise them. We can't just let social media or phones and TV raise them, because after a while, they ain't gonna be kids no more. Then they're gonna be out there in the world making stupid mistakes that we could have prevented by us just taking time out of our day to teach them. That's why the Lord commands us in Deuteronomy chapter 6 to teach them every day. So I'm gonna play this again. Listen to what this sister's saying. I self-sabotage because I'm afraid of being hurt.
I'm afraid of being hurt. So these are the ways that I self-sabotage. I overanalyze and I second guess my feelings. I set up emotional walls to prevent other people from getting in. I'm hypervigilant. So I'm hyper aware and I'm constantly analyzing everyone's behaviors, their intentions, their motives, even if they're pure. I set unrealistic expectations and I create this laundry list of qualities and characteristics that I feel as though my potential partner or dating potentials should meet. And I do all of this to protect myself from possible disappointment. But then when they can't meet those standards and those unrealistic expectations, I just reinforce the same belief that I'm going to be disappointed and I'm going to be hurt. Puts me in a vicious cycle. I also don't let people in because my fear of being hurt is directly tied to my fear of vulnerability. And so to avoid possible rejection or possible abandonment, I don't let my guards down.
You see that? That's a continued cycle. You put up walls, you don't want nobody in there because you don't want to be hurt. But then during the process of trying to get to know somebody or meet somebody, you're second guessing everything that they say when they're being honest with you, being pure with you, because you've been hurt so many times. You don't want to believe them even when they speaking the truth. So off the top, you setting up your relationship to fail because you've been hurt so many times. This is why, once again, we as parents have to teach our kid, thus saith the Lord, not thus saith the world, what we think we know. That's why the Lord said, lean not unto thine own understanding, but trust in the Lord with all thine heart. He is the creator. So we got to read his manual in order to get the best result from the product. We can't just do what we think feels right and think it's going to work out. It don't work that way. You know? Let me see. One of the things she said, she talking about unrealistic expectations. And that's, once again, something that's promoted by society. Let me see. Why is it doing that? For example, let's listen to this. Unrealistic. But this is the mindset that has been promoted to our people.
50-50, ma'am, for you, disqualify.
Absolutely.
Disqualify? What if he, okay.
Like, I haven't met him. I wouldn't even have met that man. A man that wants to be like half and half had never met me. I didn't meet him. He wasn't even in my room. I never met a man like that. Literally. I never met the man. Seriously, like, there's no way you looked at me and was like, yeah, we going to, like, I never met him.
Okay.
Disqualified a man just off of that question. If you want to go 50-50.
I'm not running across him. No disrespect to this man. But I ain't never seen this man before.
SD, what's up? The facts of the matter are that the vast majority of people here, especially Black people, would be smart to go 50-50 with each other, because half the men and over half the women make $50,000 or less. You know what I'm saying? And for Black people, us, when you look at where we sit as far as household income, we are dead last because most of us are by ourselves, right? And with over half of the men and half of the women making just $50,000, it makes our household income the lowest. Whereas other people also don't have all of this money, but what they are doing is they are getting together and saying, okay, you can only do half. I can only do half. Let's put that 50 together. Now it's $100,000 home. Now I don't have to pay $2,000 rent on my own. Now I can pay just $1,000 and we can save more money together.
You see that? Well, she said, I never met the man. Where you read that at in the scriptures? Where'd she get that mindset from?
Right.
That's a Western mindset right there. And when you look into other nations, they don't even think like that. So you got to ask yourself, where the hell she get that mindset? Where do our women get that mindset? It's promoted to us through the TV. Through the TV.
Where did
Go
she
ahead,
bring
King.
to the table?
Exactly.
What are you bringing to the table? You talking about you can't even do 50%? You don't want to do half? That's a blessing to only have to do half.
Right. I seen a brother, he was talking about it one time before. He said, what you don't realize is that a man coming in 50-50, it's not just money. He coming in, he taking half of your problem dealing with, if you got kids already, your emotional baggage, all of these different things. He's taking half of it and dealing with it. But she automatically disqualified this man just off of that question. I never met him. Crazy. You know? But let's see. this is another thing that plays our folks. Let me see. Unrealistic expectations. And this is a popular show I'm sure everybody has seen before. It's called Pop the Balloon.
The ladies aggressively popped their balloons when he walked in, but the lady he ended up matching with would leave you speechless.
What's your name?
I'm Will.
Sorry?
Will.
Will? Okay, Will, how old are you?
I'm 31. I just turned 31 about 3 weeks ago.
Okay, all right. So we did get a couple of pop balloons. Let's go on over to those ladies and see what's going on.
Alexis, I'm 29. I just feel like the physical attraction wasn't too much there. Like, I think we almost the same height. A little too short for my liking.
Stop it. Get some help.
I'm Danielle and I'm 35. I don't particularly want a short king either.
What?
What I look for in a man is a man of integrity, a man of character, a man that know how to cultivate the woman God called me to be, a man that know how to have a kind and gentle spirit.
Now, she actually spoke with some sense. She still had that balloon. But when you looking at the other sisters talking about, I don't want a short king, I guarantee you ain't going to turn down somebody like T.I. He's short of hair. Lil Wayne short of hair. But you see where they able to accumulate the amount of wealth that they have, you be right on board with it. Matter of fact, you're probably going in and do something for free just to say you was with those individuals. But here's a man you know nothing about, and you disqualify him based on his height. Unrealistic expectations.
And know how to have fun.
That's good. I like a woman with a little edge to it too.
Let me just bring you on up here. Come on up, come on up. So is it going to be a yes for you for him?
Yes.
Is it a yes for you for her?
Yes.
And another thing, I watched this show a couple times. A man to come out there, or a sister, but we talking about the sisters right now. A man to come out there and he ain't dressed right or whatever the case may be. Everybody just start popping their balloons based off of one person's reaction. And they'll miss out on a good brother based on some foolishness because they don't know what they're looking for. They don't know what they want. That's why all of them on that single. They don't know what the hell they're looking for. But it's a crazy little show.
All the ladies aggressively pop.
But these are the shows that shape and mold the minds of our sisters. You know. Just wanted to bring that out right quick. You got anything you want to add, King?
Man, I just was looking at them. Those sisters ain't in no good position just by them being on that show. They looking for somebody.
Right.
You know, a lot of times these sisters get conceited and think because they got a nice nice body that's all that a man is looking for. A lot of times that ain't all what a man looking for. And
That's
you put
true.
on the high stature because you got a nice shape and trust to bust a balloon because they said a man is short. But you know, it's just crazy.
Right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play this other little quick video just to go with that because you said that. Like the sister said at the beginning of the class, hey, you need to start asking men what it is that they're looking for. You know.
Guys don't want a Barbie doll. That's what y'all think. Y'all think we want the BBL and the super pushed up fake breasts and the super plastic face. We just want our woman to be as natural as possible and feminine and submissive and beautiful. That's it. Yes, we like women with sweet voice. Just like you like a man with a deep voice. Yes, we want a woman with a nice body. Just like you want a man with a nice body. It's fair exchange. That's what y'all gotta understand. See, a lot of women compare themselves to these IG models. But most women think that you want them to look like that. Or if they don't look like the IG model, we're not talking to them. Men don't do that. See, with the this is what the female does that. If he's not 6 feet, I'm not talking to him. If he doesn't have 6 or 7 inches or bigger, I'm not talking to him. If he don't make six figures or more, I'm not talking to him. If he a broke dude, I'm not talking to him. If he ain't got tattoos, I'm not talking to him. If he not hood or a thug, I'm not talking to him. Y'all do that. Y'all categorize men.
And that's crazy as hell, because none of those things constitute a good man or a good husband. Based on his height, tattoos, his looks, his bank account, none of those things constitute for a man or shows you how good a man will be. These are superficial things that are promoted through social media. To have women in a delusion, thinking that if I find this, if he checks the boxes, he's this height, he got muscles, he got tattoos, I'll be all right. Nah. Hey, he could be 6'3", 6'5", muscle, tattoos, and whoop your ass too. Pardon my language. Be the most disrespectful individual you can run into. Will put you to death. But that's what you're looking for, checking the box. You're looking for the wrong thing, sisters. All right. From now, I'm going to go back to this article right quick. Says number 4, reason why a lot of us or a lot of sisters are single is because of the historical and structural racism. Says the legacy of slavery, Jim Crow laws, and discriminatory housing and employment policies disrupted the stability of Black family structures. The systemic undermining of Black male economic security has had long-term effects on marriage and partnership rates. And we spoke about that earlier. It's basically going into the same thing, dealing with cultural and social dynamics. Not that, the economic and educational gaps. So during the Jim Crow laws, a lot of our brothers were disqualified, discriminated against based on who they were. So it didn't allow the families to grow or the men to be able to be put in a position of success. So it basically turned the mindset of the woman against the man due to that system that was put in place, which undermined the Black male and his economic security, preventing him from reaching that so-called American dream that we all strive for today. So because of that, a lot of us fell behind times. And I'm going to move on to verse 5 or number 5. It says dating preferences and interracial relationships. Black women are statistically less likely than Black men to marry outside their race. According to Pew Research Center, Black men are about twice as likely as Black women to be in an interracial marriage, further affecting the dating pool for those who prefer interracial relationships. Now, this is something that goes strictly against, it goes against thus saith the Lord, because he's telling us. Matter of fact, give me Deuteronomy 7:3 right quick, King.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord tells us over and over again throughout the scriptures that we are supposed to but marry and bring forth children through our own race. And Babylon, or America as you know it, promotes otherwise, saying everybody's equal, you can love who you want to, love is blind and whatnot. But when you think on a larger scale or look behind what they are pushing, us as a so-called Black people, we are the Israelites. But how do you continue to build up your nation of people if you're mixing and mingling with everybody? You can't. And that's what they want us to do, to stay destroyed as a people and start mixing and mingling with everybody else. But the Bible clearly states and tells us that we are not supposed to mingle with them, not only because it destroys our nation, but it's other reasons as well. Let me put that on the screen. Bear with me, Israel. Go ahead, bring it out, King.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriage with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Read on. This is going to tell you the reason why.
Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly.
You see that? This is why the Lord told us not to be dealing with these other nations. That's why we always getting jammed up when we dealing with the so-called white women or the other nation. So many of our brothers have been falsely incarcerated, been put to death.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, all these different things dealing with the other nations because we are not supposed to be dealing with them. Let's get another reference on that. Let's go to Joshua right quick. I believe it's Joshua chapter 24.
All right.
I think it's 23 then. Yeah, 23 and 13.
All right.
Now, start at verse 12.
23 and 12.
Yes, sir.
All right. Book of Joshua, chapter 23 and verse 12. Else if ye do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them, and go unto them, and they unto you, know for a certainly that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations from before you, but they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourges in your sides, and thorns in your eyes, until you perish off the good land which the Lord your God hath given you.
You see that? So he's saying if we go back and start cleaving to these other nations, the Chinese, the Japanese, the East Indian, the Arab, so-called white men, in other nations, outside of Israel, you say, hey, I'm not going to drive them out. I'm not going to help you against them. But they're going to be snares and traps under you. Emmett Till and various other situations. OJ, scourges in your sides and thorns in your eyes until you perish off this good land. We still going through this process today and don't understand why. So going back to dating preferences and interracial relationships, hey, we ain't even got a lot of our brothers and sisters are doing that, but that's going strictly against the commandment. And we ain't supposed to be doing it. All right. So go back to this article right quick.
Hey, brother, let me bring something out right fast. Like you named two famous people, Emmett Till and OJ. But you gotta think all the people we might that's not well known throughout the world that these tragedies have happened to for from dealing with the other nation. You know, the average Joe that's dealing with the with people from the other nation. You know, there's a punishment for that. So we have to we have to understand that these scripts are for our good to follow these scripts. If the Most High said don't deal with these other nations, we have to take heed and deal with these other nations. Because if we do, it's gonna be for our detriment.
That's right. All right. So moving on to number 6 says media representation and stereotypes. Negative stereotypes such as angry black women or the hyper independent trope are pervasive in media and can impact both self-perception and how Black women are viewed in the dating world. And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, dealing with social media. And let me see. Put this on the screen. Got several videos, but they shorts, you know. But you got to know who you are and what you work, though. And this is something key that we all should teach our children and we should take into consideration.
The way people treat you is a reflection of how they see you.
I got to rewind that. I got to make sure you brothers and sisters actually adhere to what's being said. Listen to what she said.
The way people treat you is a reflection of how they see you. The way you let people treat you is a reflection of how you see yourself. The way people treat you is a reflection of how they see you. The way you let people treat you is a reflection of how you see yourself.
That's deep right there. Short, sweet, straight to the point. How a person treats you is how they view you. So if they treat you with respect, with the utmost respect, they view you as a respectable or honorable person. But if they lying on you, snickering and laughing all the time, lying and saying all type of foolishness, that's how they view you. And you let them treat you the way that you view yourself. That's something heavy in itself as well. Teach your children these things. Think about that and add it to your life. The way you let somebody treat you is the way you view yourself. And the way they treat you is how they view you. Sisters, understand that. A man gonna treat you a certain way based on how you treat yourself or how you view yourself. If you out there dressed like a harlot, like a strumpet, like a whore, that's what you're gonna attract. That's how they're gonna treat you. If you dress in modesty, that man gonna treat you with respect because you respecting yourself. Therefore, that man has no choice but to respect you. That's what they're saying right there. So he's gonna address you the same way that you respect yourself. This is why the Lord tells her or tell the sisters to dress modestly. Matter of fact, this is something that should be taught in the household. Give me Titus chapter 2 right quick, King.
All right.
Titus chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 1. Self-respect, love for oneself, that should be taught in the household. Child should not leave the house not knowing how to respect themselves or how to be respected or how to respect others. Got it?
Chapter 2 and what you want, chapter 2 verse
Start
1?
at verse 1.
The book of Titus, chapter 2, verse 1. But speak thou things which become, excuse me, I'll start over. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine.
Sound doctrine. Speak the things to your children, even amongst each other. As adults, speak the things that become sound doctrine. Read.
That the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior and becoming holiness, not false accusers, not giving too much wine, teachers of good things.
Teachers of what?
Teachers of good things.
Teachers of good things. Teaching your daughters how to cook, how to learn, how to comprehend, how to clean, how to work with their hands, how to not be slothful, not to be lazy, not to be light-minded. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness. They're supposed to be their representation of holiness, an example of holiness, not false accuser, always gossiping and lying, not giving them much wine, not sipping and staying drunk. Teachers of good things. Read on.
That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children.
To love their husbands. So to love your husband, that means that you teaching them to be wives, teaching them to love marriage, to seek that, to build a family, to love their children. Majority of women today, they ain't looking for that. They're looking for the jump off. They're looking for the come up, trying to secure the bag. They ain't looking for a husband. And when they have children, they ain't raising them like they supposed to. They using them to get money. It said the aged women, the mature women, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to put down the damn social media, put down them phones, to love their husbands. In order to love your husband, to have a husband, you got to be a wife. I mean, you got to have gone through the training and prepared yourself to be a wife, to obtain a husband, then to become a mother, to have children. So the aged woman is supposed to be teaching the younger women how to be wives and how to be mothers. But so many generations have passed by us or through our people that we ain't teaching these things anymore. The basic things are null and void now. Sisters don't know how to do their own hair. They put wigs on, put braids in, so they don't have to do their hair every day or every other day. We've lost touch with what we're supposed to be doing. We don't know how to cook. We don't know how to clean anymore. We don't know how to do the basic things. And it's not gender related. A man should know how to cook. A man should know how to clean. But nobody's being taught these things anymore. You know? So it's a big gap that's missing. But read on, King.
Verse 5. To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed.
See that? So the older women supposed to be teaching the women good things, meaning to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, not in the club, not in the streets, showing their ass twerking on top of folk cars. You know, all in the streets to be seen. Discreet, meaning, hey, on the low. Not having your conversation where everybody can hear what you're talking about. It said being obedient to their own husbands. Obedient, meaning listening to the husband, that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed. You see that? Obedient. Let me show you something about obedient and protection right quick. Where is it? Yeah, that's it.
Unpopular opinion. His correction is his protection. If that man has tried to correct you and or teach you anything, he absolutely loves you. I want you to always consider that women think a lot more emotionally. Men think a lot more logically. Therefore, whenever your man is trying to show you something different, he is letting you into a deeper piece of him. He is now showing you how he sees the world through his eyes. So you don't think about a lot of little things that's going on behind the scenes because you typically with him, right? But he has to protect you whenever he's not as well, because that's still his job. He's still going to play that role for you, period, because he feels like he is your protector. Therefore, whenever he is trying to correct you and or teach you anything, don't take it offensive. He's not trying to belittle you. He just understands things a little bit differently than you do. It's one of the best ways that he can show you that he loves you without actually having to say the words. Don't take that for granted. Understand what's going on around you and what he's doing. Unpopular opinion. His correction is his protection.
You see that? His correction is your protection. You see that? Trying to show you the things that you need in order to stay protected. Just like the scripture said, obedient to their own husband. When you're obedient, he's going to give you instructions to help protect you and to guide you, to help better you and the household. And at the end of the day, to help him be more successful. Because the woman was created, like we say, or like the scriptures say in Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, that she was created as a helpmeet to help him reach it and obtain his goals. not to be arm candy, not to be his trophy wife. Nah, a woman was created to be a helpmeet. Whether that's popular or not, that's thus saith the Lord. We have to know our roles and be able to stand in our roles and perform at a high level in order for things to be successful. But when we choose to go contrary to that, we wonder why things end up the way they end up, broken and shattered. All right. Now, some other things going into, I'm going to show a couple video because I know we visual people. Let's see. You know what? Let me go back to this article right quick before we do that. Number 7 on the list of why so many of our sisters are single says personal choice and standards. Many Black women prioritize education, career, and personal growth, which may lead to delayed or selective dating. High standards in choosing emotionally mature and supportive partners reflect self-worth, not a lack of availability or desire. So, as we all know, a lot of our sisters strive to go get these college degrees and prioritize education in their career over their personal growth or even relationships and families. So by the time you actually go through that stage of getting the education and the career on track where you wanted to be, you actually miss out on a lot of men that were right there when you needed them. Mainly, especially when you were in college. You know, it was men of your own race in college at the time when you were there that you were supposed to be looking, well, not even really looking, but performing where that man would find you so that you would have a man who was educated on that level that you were looking for to be able to help further you in your career or for you to help him grow his. But due to personal choice and high standards or unrealistic standards, things are out of whack these days. And the mindset of our people is crazy. I'm going to show you a couple more videos right quick. All right. No, that's not it.
Dating pool is so trash, it's because of us. The women, I'm gonna explain. Women are so brainwashed that if you're single and that you're not committed or have a ring on your finger, that you could talk to whoever you want to talk to. You could date who you want to date. You can have sex with who you want to have sex with. We're brainwashed to think that. Listen, ladies, when I tell y'all, that's nasty. It says a lot about us as women if we feel like just because we're not in a committed relationship that we could do whatever the fuck we want. Why is it that what we want is to be outside? Why is it that what we want is to have a roster? That's a problem. And then y'all wonder why men treat us how they treat us is because we treat ourselves like this. Hear me out. Treat yourself as if you're sitting on the right-hand side of God. If you treat yourself like that, you will require a lot more from men and a lot more for yourself. We need to be untouchable, women. We need to make these men start working for it again. And I'm not even talking about the kitty. I don't care if you're single. Y'all need to walk around here as if you're untouchable. You do not need to have these men having access to you. I don't care what y'all say. Men just gonna be men. No, men are gonna be who you allow them to be. And if you allow them to keep coming back, if you allow them to talk to you crazy, if you allow them to keep getting the cookie and they're doing bare minimum, they're going to keep doing it. You're going to attract who you are. When you look in the mirror and you see a beautiful woman, a hardworking woman, you see all these good qualities about yourself, a man is going to be attracted to that and you're going to attract that type of man. And then just imagine when you have multiple men and you start catching feelings for them, because that's how women work. We think with our heart. Now we liking them. Eventually we're going to lay down with them. If you're talking to 10 different dudes or 5 different dudes, out of them 10 or out of them 5, you're going to lay down with at least 3. And if you ain't sleeping with 3, you're sleeping with at least 2 of them. Why? because women are curious. We sleep with one, and now we're curious. I wonder if number 2 is better than.
You know what? I mean, to be honest with you, she's 100% right. And the worst part about it is that we value women based off of how they value themselves. And I'm not talking about when women say that they deserve everything, they deserve the world, despite the fact that they done slept with 100 different guys and everybody in the city has now had access to you. No. How you treat yourself. If you've reserved yourself and everybody hasn't had access to you, you become more valuable to us. And the minute that women start to realize that, and they realize that you can't operate like men, and that's the biggest thing that's holding women back, is that they think that they can think like men, that they can do everything and anything and be out here in these streets, and then they can still come back from that. And I'm not saying that you can't get married, but what I am saying is that you're going to have a hard time with trying to convince somebody else to see the value that you think you deserve, that you're supposed to get. It doesn't work that way.
Why the dating.
Powerful statement right there. Got one more video. Well, not one more, but going into that subject.
We can't sit here and pretend like we are the same as men. We're not. We're not. We can't wash men off. Period. No, I need you to hear me. We cannot wash men off. There will always be a remnant of the men that we've been with inside of our bodies for life. So if you are just filled with all of these different people, you know how many different soul ties, demon spirits you got in your body?
But so do men, though.
No, men can wash us off.
Can a woman ever recover from being an OF
never
model?
No.
What?
Talking about OnlyFans.
Absolutely not.
But she changed her life, Sarah. She found God, Sarah.
Well, okay, let me reiterate. Can she recover? Yes. Will she have the best options of high value, high earning masculine men? No.
But it
doesn't matter.
She's abstinent.
She sold her body on the internet.
She's abstinent
People
now.
have seen her busted, spread wide open.
Welcome to OnlyFans.
If you decide to be ran through, if you decide to have an OF, if you decide to do adult entertainment industry, you are disqualifying yourself from a certain type of man.
Got him. So,
yeah,
hold on.
Come on.
Gotta play devil's advocate here.
I love devil's advocate.
So what about the men? Why is it that
it's a double standard?
Oh, why is it?
Yeah.
Like a man's confidence is defined by how many women he break down in his bed.
Why does the sun come up in the east and go down in the west?
Because God made it that
way.
way.
Why do the stars sparkle?
But that's God's law.
Why is the sky blue even though it's not blue? Why? I don't ask those questions. It is a double standard. We can't sit here and pretend like we are the same as men. We're not. We're not. We can't wash men off. Period. No, I need you to hear me. We cannot wash men off. There will always be a remnant of the men that we've been with inside of our bodies for life.
That's scientific, by the way. You can do the research on it. The scientists have already done the studies. That's where the sister getting that information from. The studies have already been done. And it goes deeper than what she actually saying. But I'm just let her play.
So if you are just filled with all of these different people, you know how many different soul ties, demon spirits you got in your body?
But so do men, though.
No, men can wash us off.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying because we are incubators and they are the whatever.
Penetrators. That's what they are. Yeah. It's a sport, especially for certain types of men. And for us to sit here and act like we could be just like men, that's wild to me. I can't even fathom that.
I'm not.
Facts. I know a lot of sisters don't want to hear that, but you cannot be like men. You shouldn't even want to. Shouldn't even want to. You're whoring yourself out, and the Lord is strictly against it. There should be no whores of the daughters of Israel. But I'm going to show you, let me see, this little clip right here. It's not even a clip, it's a post. If I can blow it up. Can you read that, brother?
Yep. A man who has driven many cars is an expert, but a car driven by many men is junk. This isn't just about cars.
See that? A man, that's exactly what that sister was talking about in the last little clip. You know, a man who has driven many cars is an expert. Just like a man who reads a lot of books, he's very knowledgeable. He's been to a lot of different, or he's traveled to a lot of different lands and cities. He's very knowledgeable, very experienced. But a car that is driven by many men is junk. So, sisters, while you out there trying to build a roster or you trying to compete and be like men, hey, understand you are that car that's being driven by many men, and that's considered to be junk, not valuable. Think about it. When you go to buy a car off a lot, you want to know through the Carfax how many owners has this vehicle had. If it had 5, 6 owners, you don't want that car. You know? So you got to value yourself. You got to value who you are and value who you are or who we are as a people. You shouldn't be out there whoring yourself out, nor should you embrace that mentality. But that's what's being promoted today in society. This is why we have to renew our mindset, according to Romans chapter 12. Renew our mind. Can't continue to follow after the ways of this world. It's destroying our people. All right. Give me Proverbs chapter 31, I mean.
All right.
Matter of fact, hold that. Got some more clips right quick. This is something else for sisters and men to consider.
Men judge men based off their woman. If a guy comes in and his woman is stunning and she looks beautiful and classy, all of a sudden I'm like, what does that guy do? Who is that guy? Now, on the opposite end, if a woman that I feel is showing or showcasing some level of disrespect to her man, I have less respect for that man. That man gets talked about behind his back. That man gets invited to less places. And in fact, depending on the type of men that man has surrounded himself with, including his friends, that woman may even get more advances from people that he called his friends. Now, women have to protect their men. So that level of devotion, so much of it comes down to how she is when he's not around.
Made a statement right there. A lot of people don't consider it at all. But a lot of men are judged based on their woman. And how that woman carries herself dictates a lot about who her man is or the reputation of her man. And like the brother said, how she carries herself when she's around him and when she's not around him shows a lot about that man and about that woman at the same time. You know, you got anything you want to add, King?
Go ahead, brother.
All right. So once again, all of these things, these video clips at the end right quick is going into self-value, knowing who you are and how to maintain yourself, sisters, knowing your role and your importance. All right. Played that one, I think. All right. Now we're going to get into some things to help change that narrative.
I take everything as a sign from God, not just some things, not just the good things, everything. I lost plenty of friends along the way. Maybe that was protection. Maybe God saw what I didn't. He heard the conversations that I wasn't around for, and he felt the energy when I kept giving them grace. So he removed what couldn't go where I'm headed. If he didn't get the job, that was him too. That opportunity was too small for the vision that he had for me. Yeah, maybe the door was cute, but it was temporary. He was building something eternal. And at that time, I just couldn't see it. You coming into my life, cool. You walking out of my life, that's cool too. I don't force nothing. I don't beg, chase, or cling anymore because I finally trust the author. Because if God writes the script, the plot twist is always in my favor. What's for me will feel right, and it won't come with confusion. It won't require me to shrink or to settle. It'll be clear, aligned, and undeniable. I take every.
See that? That's the mindset that we have to have, or the sisters have to have. Says you gotta stick to the script. Thus saith the Lord. And whatever he brings your way is gonna be for your benefit. When you doing everything in a righteous manner. You're doing the things that are required of you. Things gonna work out for you. All right. All right. Now this is another article / paper, whatever. Said how to be a good wife according to the Bible. A guide for women seeking righteousness and marriage. Can you read that, King?
Yes, sir. Blow it up a little bit. A little bit. Okay. All right. In today's world, many women desire love, marriage, and companionship, yet struggle to find or maintain lasting godly relationships. The Bible offers timeless wisdom for women who want to be virtuous wives and build strong homes rooted in righteousness. Rather than following modern trends, returning to biblical principles can help women prepare for marriage and walk in roles God has called them to.
So the first step or first idea was to embrace how it's designed for womanhood. You know, it says, "Who can find a virtuous woman?" That's in Proverbs chapter 31. It says, "Being a good wife begins with being a godly woman." You see that? That's how you become a good woman or a good wife, by being a godly woman. The Bible teaches that a virtuous woman is rare and valuable. Let's get that right quick, King. Let's go to Proverbs 31:10.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil.
You see that? Who can find a virtuous woman? A righteous woman. A woman that's a virtue. For her price is far above rubies. Now these sisters out here a lot today, they out there selling out for McDonald's Happy Meals. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
For cigarettes. These are not righteous women. They selling out for any damn thing, for some attention, for some comments, for some likes. You know? But a virtuous woman, her price is far above ruby. She knows who she is.
Mm-hmm.
She knows her purpose. She knows what she was put on this earth to do. You know? It says the heart, meaning the mind of her husband, doeth safely trust in her. He has no need, no reason to want to go through her phone. To be popping up on her to check and see if she's doing what she say. Why? Because she's a virtuous woman. It said that her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. He ain't gonna worry about being destroyed. Think about that. So part of what that article was saying was that a woman, if she wants to be a good wife, she has to return to thus saith the Lord. She got to return to the Lord. And that virtuous woman, she would include what? Purity, modesty. What is modesty? Dressing in a manner where she's not addressing or attracting sexual attention. Humility. She's not walking around with her neck stretched for thinking somebody owe her something. She's strength, strong mentally, wisdom. God's design is not restrictive. It's protective. Exactly. When you follow his design, when you follow thus saith the Lord, you are protected. That's a form of protection right there through obedience, as we brought out earlier. Number 2, it says submit in love, not in weakness. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband as unto the Lord. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Biblical submission is willing respect and order within the home. A godly wife honors her husband's leadership, creating peace in the household. Not dishonoring him, not telling him what to do, not trying to bark him around, not trying to rule over him. A godly wife honors her husband, creating peace in the household. Creating peace. That's something that our people don't even know what peace is today. Let me get a precept right quick. And give me Sirach chapter 26 right quick, King. Sirach chapter 26, and we're going to start at verse 1 and 2.
All right. Sirach chapter 26, verse 1. Blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and shall fulfill the years of his life in peace.
Let me put that on the screen for brothers and sisters who watch. Read that one more time, King.
Yes, sir. The book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 1. Blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled.
That's something that we should all be seeking for, men. Said, blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled. This man gonna live a longer life because his wife is virtuous, meaning she's full of that purity that we read about. Come on now. That modesty, humility, strength, and wisdom. She gonna know how to move at all times, how to keep him out of chaotic situations. She gonna speak with a pure tongue and a pure mind, dressing modest. Read on.
Verse 2. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace.
You see that? A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband. He at peace with her. He living a good life.
Right.
And he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. You see that? I'm trying to find the other one.
Hey, you're with grandma and granddaddy.
Yeah.
Won't see that this day and age. But you think about the grandma and granddaddy, that's what they had.
Let me get Sirach 36 right quick and 24. Sirach 36 and 24.
Book of Sirach, chapter 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest.
And a what?
And a pillar of rest.
You see that? He that getteth a wife. So that man is not going to commit to that wife unless, hey, she is worthy to be called a wife. He's not going to go and basically draft her to be on the team.
Right.
If she ain't even wifey material. A help like unto himself. You see that? A help like unto himself. She's supposed to be somewhat similar to him in the mindset. A help like unto himself. And a pillar of rest. So she's supposed to have damn near the same mindset, knowing what the goal and purpose is. As a wife, sisters, understand that. That's where your mind need to be, like your husband. What the scriptures say, I'm paraphrasing, it said it's nothing better than a woman or a woman whose wife is after her own husband. She got the same mindset.
Right.
He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. A possession is something that you own, you take care of.
Mm-hmm.
Not a damn pair of shoes you just throw in the closet. Because a lot of people will look at that and be like, I ain't nobody possession. A lot of sisters will believe that. That's not what the scriptures are talking about. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. She's special, more value than rubies. A help like unto himself and a pillar of rest. Sisters, you got to understand it. You got to be peaceful in the household. You got to bring peace to that brother. Why you think men dying younger than women? Ain't no peace in the household. Stress. Got to understand it. Let me go back to this article, though. All right. And this article is called, once again, How to Be a Good Wife According to the Bible. So, number 3, it says, be a gentle and quiet spirit. Let it be hidden. Be the hidden person of the heart with incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit. 1 Peter 3 and 4. Gentleness, patience, and self-control are attractive to a righteous man and pleasing to Yahweh. That's a man saying he loves a gentle woman, gentle spirit, a woman basking in her femininity. She's patient and self-control are attractive. You ain't lying. All praises, that's the verse I was looking for right there. Ecclesiasticus chapter 7, verse 26. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not, but give not thyself over to a light woman. A light woman is a light-minded individual. You know? Yeah, that's it. All praises, sister. Keep that in mind, brothers. Need to find a sister that's after your own mind. All right. Number 4, it says, be industrious and wise. She looketh well to the ways of her household and eateth not the bread of idleness. Proverbs 31:27. So this type of woman, she's going to be putting in work. She looking well to the ways of her household. She knows what's going on in her. She's trying to increase and better the household. Keep it in order. And eateth not the bread of idleness. She ain't sitting around eating bonbons, just watching soap operas all damn day. You know, she keeping the house in order. The man out there working, hey, she at home, she making sure the house is in order, keeping it upright. So a godly wife manages her home with care and contributes meaningfully to her marriage and family. She ain't just walking around smoking cigarettes, talking on the phone all damn day, waiting on somebody to take her to get her nails done or take her on vacation. Nah, a godly wife, she gonna manage that household, making sure it stay together, making sure it stay clean, making sure the family is being raised up right in it. All right. Let me go to Proverbs chapter 31 again. And we're gonna start at verse 10. No. Verse 12.
Proverbs chapter 31, verse 12. She would do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
She would what?
She would, verse 12. She would do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
Whether you know it or not, when you do good by that man, he's gonna do right by you. You know, read.
Verse 13. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands.
She does what?
She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands.
She working willingly with her hands. Love to put that work in. Read.
She is merchant ship. She bringeth her food from afar.
She going far and wide to make sure her family is fed. Don't make no difference. Read.
She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her husband, and a portion to her maidens.
So this sister gonna be making sure that the people in the household is fed while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. Read.
Verse 16. She considereth a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard.
See that? The sister knows about the land. She's going and buying it. With the fruit of her hands, she planted a vineyard. She out there putting her hands in that dirt, planting seeds, growing the crops to be able to feed her family. Read.
Verse 17.
Jump down to verse 22.
Verse 22. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry.
Tapestry.
Her clothing is silk and purple.
Read.
Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She makes fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant.
She maketh fine linen and selleth it. This is a woman that will use her hands. She knows how to use tools, know how to make clothing and sell it. That's a qualification that women need to know these days. How to make clothes, how to sew it up, how to repair it. It's not just about making a meal and cleaning. Scriptures is telling you about this type of woman. She's not afraid to put in the work. You need a woman like that. Women, you need to be building and molding yourself to be that woman that that man finds when he finds that possession. You know, she's able to do a lot of damn things. I put it that way. You have anything you want to add, King?
Yeah, and like we're reading in this Proverbs 31, every man should want that type of woman, and every woman should want to be that type of woman for her husband.
Mm-hmm.
That type of man that want that, and that type of woman that willing to be that Proverbs 31 woman, that leads you to raising a family the right way, having kids, daughters that you can teach to follow in your footsteps. You know, and it kind of once that first woman decides she want to be a Proverbs 31 woman, it should last throughout generations as you keep teaching the same thing throughout. So then when you decide you want to become a Proverbs 31 woman, you breaking a cycle, a negative cycle that we once were in, and turn it into something positive.
Right. Let me see. I want to bring out this little story right quick in the book of Tobit. Just to show you when you do the things that are required, the Lord will set things up for your benefit. All right. Go to the book of Tobit right quick. Chapter 6. In the Apocrypha. The book of Tobit, chapter 6. I should have brought this out earlier. Let's see. Let's start at I'm gonna start at verse 1. I'll read it right quick. And as they went on their journey, this is the book of Tobit, chapter 6, verse 1. And as they went on their journey, they came in the evening to the river Tigris, and they lodged there. When the young man went down to wash himself, a fish leaped out of the river and would have devoured him. Then the angel said unto him, Take the fish and the young man laid hold on the fish and drew it to the land. To whom the angel said, open the fish and take the heart and the liver and the gall and put them up safely. So the young man did as the angel commanded him, and when they had roasted the fish, they did eat it. Then they both went on their way till they drew near to Ecbatana. Then the young man said to the angel, Brother Azarias, to what use is the heart and the liver and the gall of the fish? And he said unto him, touching the heart and the liver, if a devil or an evil spirit trouble any, we must make a smoke thereof before the man and the woman, and the party shall be no more vexed. So this angel was letting Tobit's son Tobias, letting him know what the heart and the liver would do. So he said, if that spirit trouble any, we must make a smoke thereof before the man or the woman, and the party shall be no more vexed. This is something that our brothers and sisters need to take seriously. And this is why you're supposed to read the scriptures and study to show yourself approved, because a lot of people be having evil spirits on them or whatnot, being vexed. And sometimes we try to lay hands on them, you put oil on them, you pray. But when you read the scriptures, this is one method that will get rid of some of those evil spirits that plague our brothers and sisters. And no, it's not no witchcraft or not, but this was thus saith the Lord. So if you were to make a smoke thereof with their heart and their liver, that fish, before a man or woman, that evil spirit that was on them would vex them no more. As for the gall, it is good to anoint a man that had whiteness in his eyes, and he shall be healed. So if you haven't read this story, Tobit, which is the name of the book that we're reading, is the father of Tobias. In the beginning of the story, the man ended up going blind, having whiteness in his eyes. So the angel was telling his son that the gall of the fish would actually help heal his father.
Mm-hmm.
All right, verse 9. And when they would come to Rages, the angel said to the young man, which is Tobias, brother, today we shall lodge with Raguel, who is thy cousin. He also have one only daughter named Sarah. I will speak for her, that she may be given thee for a wife. All right. For thee doeth the right of her appertain, seeing thou only are of her kindred. And the maid is fair and wise, meaning she's beautiful and wise. She got a virtuous mindset. Now, therefore, hear me, and I will speak to her father. And when we return from Rages, we will celebrate the marriage. For I know that Raguel cannot marry her to another according to the law of Moses. But he shall be guilty of death, because of the right of inheritance do rather appertain to thee than any other. So he's telling them, hey, we're going to get you a wife on this trip to get this money. And I'm going to speak to the father in order to set it up to make this marriage arrangement go through. But he was telling the young man, hey, this woman is fair and wise, meaning she's beautiful and she's wise in righteousness. All right. Then the young man answered the angel, I have heard, brother Azarias, that this maid have been given to 7 men who all died in the marriage chamber. So it was 7 brothers prior to him trying to marry this sister. And now I am the only son of my father, and I am afraid, lest if thou go in unto her, I die as the other before. For a wicked spirit loveth her, which hurteth nobody but those which come unto her. Wherefore I also fear lest I die and bring my father and my mother's life because of me to the grave of sorrow, for they have no other son to bury them. So he concerned about this sister. He's like, hey, you talking about this is going to be my wife, but I heard about her reputation that she got an evil spirit on her that put brothers to death that's trying to marry her. But the angel had already gave him the answer earlier. Hey, she's for you. She's ordained for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though your pops trying to allow other men to marry her, she was for you. She was ordained for you. All right, verse 15. Then the angel said unto him, Doest thou not remember the precepts which thy father gave thee, that thou shouldest marry a wife of thine own kindred, meaning of your own people? Wherefore, hear me, O my brother, for she shall be given thee to wife, and make thou no reckoning of the evil spirit, for this same night shall she be given thee in marriage. So the angel was reassuring him, hey, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Everything gonna work itself out. She is for you. Verse 16, and when thou shalt come into the marriage chamber is where they went to solidify the marriage, where they would actually get down with the get down, if you know what I'm talking about. Verse 16, and when thou shalt come into the marriage chamber, thou shalt take the ashes of perfume and shalt lay it upon them, some of the heart and liver of the fish, and shall make a smoke with it. And the devil shall smell it and flee away, and never come again anymore. But when thou shalt come to her, rise up both of you and pray to God, which is merciful, who will have pity on you and save you. Fear not, for she is appointed unto thee from the beginning. And thou shalt preserve her, and she shall go with thee. Moreover, I suppose that she shall bear thee children. Now, when Tobias had heard these things, he loved her, and his heart was affectionately joined to her. So he had never met this sister. This was what you would call an arranged marriage. But because of the words of the angel, that he did not know it was an angel at the time, when you read the story, it was just a brother who was hired to go on this journey with him. But this was actually an angel sent by the Most High to help guide this brother on his journey. But he was telling Tobias these good things about this sister. And said when he heard these things, he loved her, and his heart was affectionately joined to her. She had never performed anything in his company, but she was a righteous sister, a fair and wise sister who was known or in her gates, so to speak. The Lord was always watching. So that message or her reputation was, what's the word I'm looking for? Expressed to Tobias through the word of the angel. So what she was doing in her own land, her good works, it was expressed and transferred to Tobias, who was on the way to marry her. Neither had he known her or ever seen this sister. But because of the works that she was putting in, being that example of holiness, as we read earlier in Titus, being a teacher of good things she learned from her parents, hey, she had a good reputation. So this brother was affectionately joined to her.
Right.
And this is the mindset that our sisters have to have. That Proverbs 31, that Titus 2 mindset. You know, you got to change your mindset. Stop having unrealistic expectations that's going to hold you back. You know, stop having the influence of negative friends, family members. You got to change your attitude. Change your attitude and your character to the things that's going to attract the man that you want. You know, heal from your past experiences, because I know a majority of our sisters have had those type of relationships, and men as well. But you got to heal from those things. You can't keep dragging it on.
Right.
You can't have low self-esteem. You got to know your self-worth, your value. You know, if you don't respect or love yourself, how can you expect somebody else to? You know, as the video said earlier, people treat you how they view you. And how you let them treat you is how you view yourself.
Right.
So, you know, you got to change your mindset. Stop following the ways of this world, the social media presences, especially. Know and understand that you will have to compete. You know, just like you would be striving to get a job, whether it's at a top facility or Fortune 500 company, you're going to have to compete in order to get those top-notch jobs or good jobs. So if you want a good man, hey, you got to present yourself with those requirements or meet that criteria,
right,
in order to get that job, to be noticed. You know, you got to have yourself ready to be presentable or to be presented. Put in those good works so that a man will notice you to come find you. You know, hopefully the conversation is the same way that Angel was speaking about Sarah, that other people are speaking about you, sister. I know a great sister that'd be perfect for you, brother. She's hardworking. She's wise. She works with her hands. You know, she's loving. She's not loud. You know, she loves the Lord. These are the things you need to be seeking. But, you know, and another, go ahead, King.
No, I just saying, like you said, those are the things we need to be seeking. I just was agreeing with you on that.
All praise. I'm gonna finish this little article off and then we'll close out because I think we was on 5. It says, guard your appearance and modesty. In like manner also, the women adorn themselves in modest apparel. Modesty includes both dress and behavior. A woman who honors her body and behaves with discretion is truly valuable. That's something that sisters must take into consideration and hold that dearly to their heart. Understand that even though men will be attracted to you if you wearing pants, tight clothes, yeah, they'll be attracted, but for the wrong reasons.
Right.
You know, they're not looking to wife you. They're not looking to take care and protect you. They looking to score. They looking to get their rocks off, a jump off.
Right.
You know, that's what they're looking at when you dress immodest, when you're trying to follow the ways of this world. They're not going to respect you. As we stated earlier, the way you view yourself is how somebody else is going to treat you, or that's the way you're going to let them treat you. All right. Number 6, it says, be prayerful and spiritually grounded. The heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. A spiritually mature woman brings peace and wisdom to her marriage. Constantly reading, constantly praying, trying to figure it out, how to get better. How can we get better as a family, as a couple, as a wife, as a husband? Understand that. Said final thoughts. Many women remain single not because they're unworthy of love, which is true, but because they haven't embraced what it means to be a godly wife, meaning being destroyed for lack of knowledge. Singleness can be a season for preparation, not frustration. By cultivating biblical womanhood, you not only draw nearer to Yahweh, but also prepare yourself for a righteous husband. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Psalms 37:4. So, bottom line, sisters, you want a good man or a righteous man, hey, you got to do thus saith the Lord. You can't follow the ways of the world and think you're going to find a good man. Right. Because ways of the world ain't going to bring you a godly man. You say you want a God friend, man, but when you get a man that's God friend and he's trying to lead and discipline, you don't want that. You know? So you got to renew and change your mindset, you know? And basically examine yourself and the people that you deal with. But on that note, you got anything you want to add, King? Still there? All right. Guess not. But this whole class was put together with the intention of helping our brothers and sisters. This series, I put it that way. We'll do more classes regarding this topic and how to improve and how to build as a nation. But this series was put together to help our brothers and sisters to be able to identify our shortcomings, to also show us the way we should be moving, how we should be raising our families, our kids, to avoid the pitfalls that we've stepped in, fell in. But once again, this class or this series was put together to help rebuild, restore, reshape our nation of people by building families, great families, righteous families. Through righteous families, you build strong nations. We as a nation, we are broken right now, but we are slowly but surely rebuilding ourselves and getting to the point where we need to be at. But on that note, I'm Brother Ananias. And I had Brother Ezekiel on here. We are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. Know the class was kind of long, but hey, it is what it is. Well, appreciate you, brothers and sisters, tuning in as always. And Lord willing, we'll be back next week with another edifying lesson. With hopes and regards of teaching our brothers and sisters the things that we need in order to proceed. But we want to give our honor, glory, praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai for the abundance of all things. Make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe, and share this content with your brothers and sisters. But on that note, we say shalom, shalom, peace and greetings to you all, and we out.